up everyone? I'm your female otaku and I'm here to review chapter 29 of The Promised Neverland. And boy, I sure did not expect this chapter to end the way it did. However, I do have a few theories, but we will get to that later on. In the beginning of the chapter, Norman becomes a total badass with how he got on top of the wall there. Like, he tied the rope that Don and Gilda made to the tree, and he ran up across the wall until he had a good enough swing so he was able to jump and was able to make himself over the wall. Like, goddamn, that was badass. Like, whoa, Norman, you did that? You? Ah, damn. Unfortunately, what was over the wall turns out is nothing but a ditch because it's a cliff. The wall is a cliff. Norman decides to do a little bit more investigating, so he runs across the wall and sees like, he's at one corner where it splits into like 3 paths. And so he continues to run around and he was able to figure out the design of the place that they're in, the platform that they're in, you could say. And it's a hexagon. And each plantation is divided, and altogether there are definitely 5 plantations which makes up the hexagon. Each plantation takes up a side. And there's only one bridge that connects the hexagon of plantations to the other side. So if Ray and Emma want to escape, they have to go find that bridge. And then in the center of all the plantations is HQ. So it's honestly divided up by a couple of hexagons, you could say. But hey, since you read the chapter already, you already know how the design looks, so I'm not going to explain any further about that. The shocking thing is that Norman decided to come back. And the thing is that Norman didn't really plan to follow through with his promise from the beginning. He didn't even use the device that Ray gave him to turn off the tracker. So Norman has decided to choose death because he doesn't want to be the one to risk their chances of escape, because if he escapes, then security will definitely be added, and just a little more security could ruin their entire plans. And so Norman is just like, no, I think death is the best option for me. And he thanked his friends. Personally, I think that there was another way. I'm still with Ray and Emma on their plan, that things would have worked out in the end, but I see why Norman took the precautions. However, the chapter did not end with us seeing him die, so here's what I believe. Norman still has the pen. The William Minerva pen. That is a code to something. We didn't see him hand it back to Ray. No, we only saw Norman hand back the device that will turn off the trackers. He handed that back to Ray, which can still be of use. But with the pen Norman still has, I'm going to assume, this is far-fetched, I'm not gonna lie, but it's a possibility. Norman will not be killed. Instead, he will be used to work under William Minerva, because we know he's still alive. So Norman can be used, since he is, you know, a 12-year-old boy. Yes, although it's very rare to eat the brains of a 12-year-old, still, he could actually be used for something better, and that is to work within the same area that William Minerva is working in. And Norman can definitely take something like that. So I think that's what's going to happen. I don't really see any other route except for, you know, death, obviously. But since we didn't see him die and he still has the pen, which the pen is definitely going to be of some sort of use, it makes me believe 100% that Norman isn't going to die anytime soon, and he's not dead right now. And where is he now? Most likely working under William Minerva. Let me know your thoughts on my theory if you have a theory of your own. And now we're gonna have a couple of chapters of just Ray, Emma, Don, and Gilda trying to think of what to do next. I mean, they're gonna have to, you know, try to move on without Norman, because they do know how to escape now, which is, you know, to get to that bridge. But the difficult thing is getting all the kids on top of the wall, then getting all the kids to run across the wall, then finding the bridge. So it's gonna take a lot. But once again, let me know your thoughts, and catch me later as I review Noragami, Little Witch Academia, and Tales of Mysteria the Cross. I'm your female otaku. Sayonara.